This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, we'll show you a powwow on the plains.
Concordia students say it's time for Niflheim. We got a closer look at these Nerf nights.
From the paint to the pound,
Dude, you're on my leash.
find out who's been trading layups for Labradors.
But first, we'll take a look at the future of Concordia science. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Tyrell Philly.
And I'm Betsy Harmson.
Concordia College plans to break ground this spring to update its science facility with donations from Sanford hospitals.
Sanford has offered to donate up to $3 million for the renovations. Reporter Levi Last shows us how they plan to make some changes.
Hey Monica, how are you?
Sanford hospitals have joined with Concordia to see the project to completion by pledging up to $3 million towards the project, which is expected to cost as much as $45 million. Concordia professor of biology, Ellen Aho, says the project is promising.
But it's a very extensive renovation, so it will feel like a new building on the inside. A kind of innovation called T-Search labs, which are labs that will be used for both teaching and research purposes.
The updated facilities will include new study spaces and rooms equipped for a more interactive and hands-on experience.
It's very exciting because you'd think when you go to college, there'll be a bunch of old stuff, maybe one or two new machines, but to have the entire thing be new, that's just awesome.
The alumni here are really supportive of Concordia and the community, and they really care about it.
Sanford's donation is expected to be the largest corporate donation for the project. According to Concordia's website, the generous gift from Sanford will help Concordia continue to graduate talented individuals who will become leaders in medicine. Levi Lass, Campus News.
The science facility is scheduled to be completed in August of 2017.
Leaky roofs and heating updates are just some of the expenses MSUM hopes to convince the state to help pay for when they gave a tour of campus to the Minnesota Higher Education Commissioner Larry Pogamiller. MSUM President Ann Blackhurst led Pogamiller during the visit. The purpose of the tour was to show what areas of campus need to be repaired. MSUM is looking for the state to cover $5 million, half of what is needed to fix everything. Pogamiller says MSUM has done a good job of keeping its infrastructure maintained. The state legislature is expected to vote in the final days of session. NDSU is making changes to its school song. Recently, NDSU President Dean Bershani sent an email to campus informing everyone. NDSU will be removing the second and third verse of their fight song, The Yellow and the Green. The removal comes after an anonymous complaint found cultural references in the song that they deemed to be troubling. The line that inspired the action was in the third verse of the song and used the phrase, the red man. President Bershani has asked to bring together a staff, faculty, and student group to study the song and offer alternatives that will balance the tradition of the school's heritage with regards for modern views. MSUM students are looking to integrate diversity into the campus community.
As Timur Sati tells us, the Celebration of Nations brought together many cultures.
Today at CMU Ballroom, students around the world are carrying their own country's flag, wearing traditional clothes, singing, dancing, and sharing cultural food. This is what Celebration of Nations is all about. MSUM sophomore Saad Farooq, who is originally from Pakistan, is here at the Celebration of Nations to show the community about his culture.
I have a really wonderful booth set up where I'm displaying our cultural shawls, cultural shoes, and just in general our culture, and I'm dressing up in my traditional clothes so that I can display what Pakistani people wear.
He was standing at the Pakistani booth, telling people about his country.
So we usually kind of cover them up or kind of wear them like this or something.
And was also on the stage with his friends to perform his cultural dance. MSUM student Audrey Jensen is here to see her dome residents performing.
We need to learn more about them because we're just, okay, you're from Nepal and that's about it. That's about what I know about most of them. But coming here, I get to learn more. I get to learn about their music and their dances and their food.
Students here at Celebration of Nations are presenting who they are and from which part of the world they belong. Those not familiar with these cultures also came here with their friends to learn the music and dance. It's a place where all students respect, appreciate, and try to understand each other's culture. With photographer Michael Schumer, Temur Sati, Campus News.
This year's celebration marks the 53rd in school history.
At the MSUM Underground, people of all ages are dancing and eating salsa. This is the second year the Spanish Club has put on the event. Salsa instructor Edwin Ibar led the group and taught everyone the basic steps of the dance. Salsa is a mix of Latin music, but is primarily a Cuban dance.
Not only it's fun, but it's also, I think, a good activity to de-stress from classes, and maybe later you can show off the skills that you're learning here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Spanish Club hopes to make this an annual event on MSUM's campus. It is free and open to the public.
At NDSU's Memorial Union, you would normally hear students chatting or studying, but instead people came to enjoy the 27th annual Woodlands and High Plains Powwow. Many Native Americans took part to celebrate their culture. Haley Gerlach has more on how the Native American Society is being brought to the community.
With the beat of the drums and the jingle of bells, the Native American culture is brought to life. It's an honor for many to be asked to be a part of this tradition. Dennis Williams and Mickey Hodges were picked to represent the powwow.
Once I was called to be the arena director, I decided to step up to the plate.
That's part of our duties and responsibilities, to make sure everything's going correctly and properly, and there's a nice flow to everything.
Some little girls dream of being a princess.
Beautiful, matches her earrings.
For Brandy Redroad, she is one.
I am FM Native American Crossroads Princess, and they just picked me because I was a good dancer.
Dancing is something Brandy has been doing since she was a little girl, and she says it's very important to her. Brandy says it's a privilege to wear her jingle dress, which has been passed down through many generations.
My grandmother made it, and my sister wore it, and my sister gave it to me.
The participants of the powwow say that the preservation of Native American culture is important to them and hope younger people continue the tradition. With photographer Annie Pearson, Haley Gerlach, Campus News.
The Native Americans are excited to pass down these traditions to their children and other people in the community. For many veterans, going from military life to college life can be a transition many don't hear about. MSUM's Veteran Resource Center wants to change that.
Organizing events throughout the year shows MSUM veterans they are being heard. Reporter Derek Barkowitz has the story.
Resources available for veterans are sometimes hard to find. Aaron Jensen, head of the Veterans Resource Center, served in the Minnesota National Guard, and says organizing events year-round with MSUM public relations students and Student Veterans of America helps bring awareness to the center and student veterans on campus.
It's definitely a positive impact. It's a place for people of similar interests. We're all veterans or some sort of military background that are in the Veterans Resource Center.
MSUM public relations student Angela Borsma, bingo, that helped organize the Veterans Game Night,
I-30,
says the word about veterans needs to get out more.
G50, that they know that there's a lot of support behind them from current students that already go to MSUM, N42, and that there's hope here.
MSUM public relations student Laura Kramer,
faculty and staff to be more aware of kind of what's going on with veterans,
that put on the College with the Congressman event, says it was organized as an information hub to answer veterans' questions.
Well, we're hoping to get more people involved in the Campus Resource Center.
With these events at MSUM, veterans get a wealth of information and know that they are not alone in their move to college from the military. With photographer Samantha Stark, Derek Barkowitz, Campus News.
The events put on by the student groups are in conjunction with the Bateman National Campaign.
University of North Dakota researchers will play a key role in helping NASA fly high into airspace and get some studying done. NASA is looking at the regulation of unmanned aircraft systems. Drones are being used more to deliver people's packages and other goods. UND professor Doug Olson says NASA wants to keep unmanned aircrafts low to the ground and safe from air traffic. UND will work with Northern Plains UAS test site showing off the Scan Eagle. The University of Minnesota has made a breakthrough in turning waste into usable products. Researchers at the U of M have engineered what is being called a synthetic biopathway that can efficiently turn agriculture waste into a variety of products for a cheap cost. Researchers can turn waste like corn stalks and orange peels into useful products like spandex and chicken feed. This groundbreaking advancement will also be better for the environment.
At St. John's University near St. Cloud, an artist is trying to break a world record. Joel Cherico dedicated the last year to make sure he could break the Guinness World Record for the number of pots thrown in an hour. To do it, Cherico needed to make a new pot every 24 seconds. The current record was 150 by a man in the United Kingdom. The difference between the two artists was that Cherico is using a kick pottery wheel instead of electric. He says he used this to promote his online pottery business. The result? Cherico shattered the record by 9 pots. Comedian Jessica Seeley made an appearance on MSUM's campus and performed her stand-up feminist killjoys for the students. Reporter Nathan Lavka dropped in to check the show out.
Crying and I'm howling. What I'm trying to say is now I can talk to crows.
A mic, a stool, a Mountain Dew kickstart, and some crude humor is what entertained the students of MSUM. The SF Dragon Youth Feminist Club decided to invite comedian Jessica Seeley to perform for the students. Jessica began her career in comedy back in college.
I've mostly expressed myself through humor, and that's how I made friends. And in college I did get really involved with feminism, and I would do some like little public speaking things or like little monologues.
Sammy, no, go play!
She had already made appearances over the years and decided to stop back in.
And then I'd be like, you're crying because you're privileged.
Even though it's a comedy show, there is a deeper meaning behind it.
I think that my main goal is that the students have a lot of fun and that they don't feel oppressed or bad or ugly about things that happened tonight, that it's just fun for them. Maybe pushes a little bit.
You know,
Some of the audience members enjoyed the show for different reasons.
I love stand-up comedy in general, so I think it's super fun to go see like something kind of like smaller based and not super famous and see how that goes. And the fact that it was related on feminism was pretty cool.
Audience members said that they loved the show, and some said that they'd want to see her stand up again. With photographer Eli Plunkett, Nathan Lofka, Campus News.
Seeley traveled all the way from California, where she does most of her shows, to perform in Minnesota.
Hard work is paying off for one Florida teenager who has been offered over $1 million in scholarship money from 11 different universities. Mimi Mallory of Lynn Haven, Florida won't have to pay much to further her education. Mercer University in Macon, Georgia offered Mallory the most money with a scholarship totaling $212,000. Mallory has decided to attend her dream school, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, which offered her $166,000 in total scholarships. Mallory's high GPA and participation in several extracurricular activities helped her receive so many scholarships. Mallory also credits her parents for their support through her busy schedule. An actress from the award-winning film Tangerine visited MSUM to talk on her beginnings far from the movies, her new career as an actress, and her ties to North Dakota. Reporter Tyler Jensen takes us to the event to see how she views life and her newfound stardom.
Maya Taylor will tell you herself she isn't someone who cares about what others expect of her.
I do try to push myself to be like, oh, I don't care what this person says.
Before the actress starred in Tangerine, she was a prostitute in Los Angeles who was also transitioning from male to female. In her talk at MSUM, she talks about how she filled out hundreds of applications, but her transition posed major problems. Taylor says because she wasn't able to change her name and picture on IDs to match how she identified, people wouldn't hire her.
It cost me I had a train ticket in LA that needed to be paid for, or they wouldn't let me change my name and my gender.
Then came Tangerine, and everything changed. She said she was now making $10,000 on her first paycheck, and eventually she found her boyfriend James. Now she lives with him in North Dakota when she's not working on projects. She says the part about her job she likes the most is making these trips to colleges to talk to students.
And, you know, it was nice to know that from my experiences, I could show them the right way to do something or the right way to handle things.
Students said they enjoyed listening to Taylor and her perspective.
I liked how open she was about her life and her transition, so I thought that was really cool.
For now, it seems like the actress who went from being a prostitute in Los Angeles to an actress living in North Dakota brought a new perspective for MSUM students. With photographer Veronica Utek, Tyler Jensen, Campus News.
Taylor and her boyfriend are preparing to get married next winter. Taylor is also working on a television show with Tangerine director Sean Baker.
Believe it or not, some household materials are being used in athletic competition nationally in a sport known as Niflheim.
Sarah Erickson reports on how Niflheim is more about the community than the competition.
Weapons up! As practice gets underway, returning fighter Cameron Winterstein introduces his love of Niflheim to the 15 newest members of the sport. He says they may be new, but they are catching on fast.
I think back to how I learned and how long it took me to get to where they are right now. Within the past 2 months, they've learned more than I did in my first year.
For one fighter, the moves came just a little easier. Since she was little, Karis was involved in martial arts. After balancing a busy schedule and going to her first practice, she knew it was something she wanted to continue.
The first day I was hooked. I was like, this is gonna be my life now.
In most American sports, athletes are given their equipment, but in this sport, the athletes create their own weapons with household materials. Strapping up their gear, Niflheim members find themselves using these weapons to fight. Oh, these are so cool! At a national level. Members may do a lot of whacking at each other, but to them, it's more about their learning and sense of community than winning the battle.
It means you can't lose anything. Even if you lose the fight, you'll either have learned something by the end of it or you'll win.
Any day of the week, you can find these club members hanging out, outside of practice.
It doesn't matter what I'm feeling on any given day. It always makes me want to come here. And a weapon.
With competitions right around the corner, Niflheim says they hope their tight-knit community and friendships prove to be strong enough for battle. That's the game. Sarah Erickson, lay on! Campus News.
At the beginning of the year, the club had 5 original members. Now at any given practice, you can see up to 25 people. Winterstein says they are always looking for new members.
And now we turn it over to Haley Foster for a look at this week's sports. Haley, it's nice to see some student athletes getting applauded for what they did on spring break for a change.
I know, Tyrell. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. 3 Iowa State football players are being deemed heroes for their work off the field. While on spring break in South Padre Island, Texas, Jack Spreen, Josh Jollis, and Anthony Lazard saw a woman trapped in a car sinking in water. The 3 ISU students wasted no time in helping Maria Castro to safety. Police say the car sank in less than a minute. If it hadn't been for the boys jumping into the water, Castro would have drowned. She says she can't thank them enough for saving her life. Castro was later arrested for driving under the influence. Her blood alcohol content was nearly twice the legal limit of 0.08. The NDSU women's golf team is about to wrap up its season. Members of the team are looking to keep the same mentality they've had all year as the conference championship meet approaches. Head coach Matt Johnson will take a look at his team to see which 5 golfers he wants to represent NDSU in the Summit League meet. Senior Cassie Worm has had a standout season, averaging 78.95 strokes, making her a likely choice for this year's tournament roster. The Summit League Championship begins on April 18th, where the Bison will try and make the NCAA Regionals for the first time since 2013. NDSU is empowering women through a program called Pink Glove Boxing. This ladies-only kickboxing class is showing women of all sizes and strengths the importance of confidence. NDSU started Pink Glove Boxing this school year. The program filled all 105 available spots right away. With the amount of excitement around the class, fitness coordinators say it's more than just exercise.
Some of my classes, we show up early and we wrap our hands together. In some of our classes, when we end, we do hands in the center. You know, everything's a little different. The groups are a little different, and their personalities really is what makes this program.
Pink Glove Boxing started in Montana but has made its way to facilities across the country. The team is exclusively for NDSU students, but to sign up for training camp, you can go to pinkglovesboxing.com. A University of Mary men's basketball player earned national recognition after winning the College Slam Dunk Contest. U Mary's Devin Douglas, a senior from Clinton, Iowa, took home the prize during the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament Final Four weekend. Douglas was one of only 2 Division II participants. Douglas said he didn't have a game plan heading into the contest, but wanted to show off his athletic ability. He sealed the victory with a 360 dunk. Douglas arrived back in Bismarck, where teammates and fans welcomed him home with cheers. For some college students, waking up in the morning can be quite the struggle. But reporter Trent Spihorsky shows us how one student athlete wakes up at the break of dawn to make sure shelter dogs get the attention they deserve.
The cries of pups fill the For Love of Dog shelter. Puppy dog eyes and wagging tails await MSUM women's basketball standout,
Come here!
Savannah Handovit.
Come here, goofball.
When Handovit is not on the court, she's busy volunteering at For Love of Dog, where she dedicates early mornings to care for dogs without a home.
No, Rhodey, stay down. I can just wake up early and start my day off doing this.
Even though Handovit doesn't have a pet,
Are you all better now?
she gives her attention to dogs that cry for a little affection.
Like, I'm a huge animal lover, so just kind of starting my day off with animals just definitely makes it all that much better.
And it's volunteers like Savannah who help these dogs find a special home.
It's awesome. I mean, it's always a good feeling when the dogs go to new homes, because that's like our ultimate goal, is to get them to go to their forever home.
Dude, despite cold temperatures,
Dude, you're on my leash.
Handovit says she loves to take the dogs on a walk.
I volunteered here when it's below 0, like it's cold, you know? So I'm always the one that's like, I'll take him for a walk. I like the exercise, so it's awesome.
Until the dogs find a special home, they can count on Handovit.
No, don't it, no.
To bring joy and attention to their days.
You go inside?
With photographer Veronica Utek, Trent Spihorsky, Campus News.
Handovit is graduating in May with a degree in advertising and public relations, along with a minor in marketing. I don't know about you guys, but that makes me want to adopt all of the dogs.
Right.
And I don't mean like just one, I want all of them.
Same, I want all of them too. What a great story. It really highlights how important it is to give back. Thanks, Haley. For many students, spending time studying abroad becomes an important part of the college experience.
This semester, 3 MSUM students are studying in England. They're part of the exchange program at the University of Lincoln, located about 140 miles north of London. We got a chance to see what college life is like across the pond. For MSU Moorhead film student Joe Rowan, the sights and sounds along the historic streets of Lincoln, England have allowed him to step into a world filled with new customs and culture.
Every day is just like an adventure. Never fail to find something new whenever I just decide to take a walk one day, and it's awesome.
Rowan is one of the 3 MSU Moorhead students who are currently studying in Lincoln. Now in its 15th year, the exchange between Lincoln and MSUM has allowed students like Rowan to live and study in a city that boasts both an ancient castle and cathedral.
Everything is within walking distance, so the students, they can get to anywhere within Lincoln, whether it's to the cathedral quarter with the castle and the little cobbled streets and tea rooms, so they find it's a very British experience.
MSUM students are learning about the British way of life in the classroom as well.
I'm working on a tea article. This one's about quotes on tea.
Michaela Rinkenberger is teaming up with British students as part of an online production course. Her instructor says she adds a lot to the classroom.
Having someone from America is always a plus. She's very enthusiastic, she's very interested, she's working with a good team. She's just really good student.
Michaela finds being an American student in Lincoln can have its advantages.
There's some that just really enjoy getting to know Americans. I remember after our first audio production class, there's like 3 or 4 students, and they just like stopped us in the hallway and they're like, "You're the Americans?" And they're like so excited, and it was just like, "Yeah, we're American."
But what you'll notice is that for those minority channels,
The British college experience can also come with some challenges. While MSUM junior Amanda Hunter enjoys the subject matter in her TV British drama class, the grading system is different than she's used to.
Throughout the semester, you aren't really turning anything in to get grades, and so your whole grade relies on this one project or paper or test or something. So that's a big difference.
These students say even though it took some time to adjust, their stay in Lincoln has been a life-changing experience.
I think I'm going to realize it more when I get back. Like, wow, this experience really impacted me more than I can currently see.
I think I'll look back and I'll just remember having such a great time and meeting amazing people.
As for Rowan, studying here and taking in all he can of English culture has given him a new outlook.
I love just the way that it gives me a new global perspective and just gives me a whole new viewpoint of just where we are in the world.
The MSUM Lincoln Exchange includes students from the School of Media Arts and Design, Music Industry, and the School of Communication and Journalism. In the fall, 6 students from Lincoln will be studying at MSUM.
And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with the sounds of the streets in Lincoln, England.
Thanks for joining us and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.